All right, if you're watching this video, strong chance you made a comment on one of our threads with a revealer in it perhaps, where you said that's all fine and good, but I don't putt with a revealer, I put my hands on the putter. Or how hard can it be to control a putter when your hands are on it? Or a revealer doesn't matter because whatever. Some form of you don't think the torque matters. So if you believe that, then you also believe that basically the whole modern putting fitting shtick doesn't really exist. So I'll tell you a quick story. I was out at a tour stop, and there was a top 10 player, the top 10 at the time, who was interested in one of our L.A.B putters. He has a coach who's a very prominent figure in the world of putting. And after the player had expressed interest, I emailed the coach and I said, you know, hey, so-and-so was looking at our putter, and if you don't mind, put in a good word for us. Coach promptly emailed back and said, unfortunately, I cannot do that because I have tested this player a million times, and this player positively, absolutely needs a full toe hang putter. And furthermore, Sam, I have to say that I find your revealer demonstration a bit misleading. Yes, putters do twist, but it's not as though there's so much torque in a putter that you can't mitigate it simply by putting your hands on the putter. This was one of the worst moments in my life because I absolutely loved this guy. I loved everything that he teaches. I love the way that he thinks about putting. I love the way that he trains his players. And all of a sudden, and I was only a year into L.A.B at this point, I was wondering if this guy basically just told me that I'm selling snake oil. And this was keeping me up at night and keeping me up at night. And then literally, I shot up in the middle of one night about 2 weeks later, and I realized, oh, wait a second. If you're telling me that torque is so easily mitigated that all you have to do is put your hands on the putter, then please explain why your player positively needs a full toe hang putter. The whole fitting shtick in the world right now is entirely about torque. They just don't call it torque. But if you go to some facility that's got the Quintic and all the machines and all the stuff that tells you what putter you should be using, you're gonna try a face balance putter, and you're gonna try a toe hang putter, and you're gonna try a full toe hang putter. And they're gonna go through and they're gonna tell you which one of these different options suits your stroke best. That is fitting for torque. Again, they just don't call it that. So what we have done is we've simply taken that variable out of there. We've simply made it so that rather than figuring out which type of torque profile you're going to react to best, we just remove the variable entirely. A lot of the putting gurus out in the world have started to at least accept that lie angle balancing is another option. My feeling is that they're not thinking it all the way through, because the answer isn't what happens in a vacuum. The answer isn't what happens in your 5-minute, 50-minute fitting in a studio where they hand you 15 putters throughout a given time and pick which one's best. With our stuff, the real question is what happens 2 weeks later? What happens to your stroke? What happens to your stance? What happens to your grip 2 weeks later after you've had a putter that isn't fighting to get out of square? And what we have found, and what a lot of our customers have found, the vast majority of our customers have found, is that the putter quite literally leads you to a better stroke. You'd let the putter do its thing, and all kinds of things just happen on their own. The putter starts staying more on plane. The path squares up. The face rotation lessens. These things happen simply by just reacting to the instrument that's in your hand without having to think about it. So if you're skeptical about it, the best I can tell you is just give it a try. Even most people can just go to a store and pick one up and they'll feel what we're talking about. If not, and you're a little bit more adventurous, buy one. Give it a shot. Tell me what happens 2 weeks later, and I'm a little afraid to say guarantee, but I'll almost guarantee that you're gonna feel what we're doing and your putting will improve. Give it a chance, and I assure you, torque does matter.